I got a pet cow killer. Most painful sting.
There's this insanely viral YouTube video where a guy named Coyote Peterson lets himself get stung by a cow killer. And based off of his reaction, you can tell this insect has one of the most painful stings in the entire world. Now, normally you would want to stay away from these things, but I just found a website that will sell you one as a pet. They say this thing's called a cow killer because its sting is powerful enough to kill a
If it's the most painful sting, why are you keeping it as a pet? Velvet ants are wingless insects that are found in tropical subtropical regions around the world. They are also known as cow killers or piranha ants due to their painful sting. Velvet ants are not actually ants, but they are related to wasps. Put it down. Put it down.
literal cow. Huh, what could go wrong? Let's just buy this at the cart. So in this video, I'm gonna build it at home, show off everything about keeping a pet cow killer, which means yes, I am going to let it crawl on my arm. If it stings me, I am going to be in so much pain. But until it got delivered to my house, I got out the enclosure and a bunch of desert rocks to build its home. To start, I stacked each of the rocks in this pattern that would create a canyon look in here. Now the reason I bought these types of rocks is because they look like the rocks in real canyons. But yeah, because they look so realistic, these rocks were very expensive. Yes, that's actually how much they costed. We don't talk about that. You see, cow killers live in deserts in the wild, which sort of makes sense because all of the most deadly and painful animals live in the desert. Anyways, to finish the canyon look in this enclosure, I got some of this excavator sand stuff. You see, if I add this bowl of water to this tub of the sand and, pour it in there like that, then just go and mix it up with my hand. And after a minute, it turns it into this clay substrate, which I can kind of make into a nice ball of, poop. Yes, it's kind of nasty. But basically, using this clay, I'm gonna go and stick it in between each of these rocks to kind of glue them together, and we're gonna have a nice completed canyon look in here. Anyways, after putting that all over the rocks and letting it dry, it ended up looking pretty good. But the next step to finishing this desert is, of course, to put some sand
No, it looks like you put doo-doo all over your enclosure, bro.
in here because deserts, they have to have sand. But before putting the sand in, first I've got these big bags of black rocks, and apparently if I scatter this around the floor before putting the sand in, it should help absorb any extra moisture, and that'll prevent any mold from growing in this desert. Next up, I got out another container and filled it with some sand and some of this soil to make the desert substrate. Basically, the reason why I'm using this as the substrate is because when I put the plants and cactuses inside, this soil is going to provide a lot of nutrients, so they're able to grow nice and tall, and we get a fully fledged desert in here. So I went and poured that on top of all of the carbon and pushed it up against the rocks to make the desert floor. But as you can see, this doesn't really look like a desert because of how much dirt I added to that substrate. So I quickly poured a thin layer of just normal sand on top so it would look like a desert once again. Alright, this is already starting to look like a good cow killer enclosure, but to make it even better, it's time to add in some plants and decorations. First, for the decorations, and that basically just means wood and rocks, because that's pretty much all deserts have, to be honest. They're pretty boring. First of all, I put some of this spider wood around the tank randomly and even used some of it to make little bridges across the canyons that the cow killer would be able to walk on. Then I got some of these longer sticks and put them on the side of the canyon to make it look like there were roots growing from it or something. Yeah, pretty cool. But I did end up getting two cool decorations, which are right here. The first of which is these little logs, which are called cholla wood. And the reason these are a cool decoration is because cholla, it's a cool word to say, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and also they're good because they have all these little holes so the cow killer can run inside and then just hide and make a home in there. So yeah, that's good. And for the second cool decoration, I got a live scorpion. I'm just kidding. It's actually not a live scorpion. Oh, it's a plastic toy scorpion, but it's a desert, so I think it'll fit pretty well. I'm just gonna put it right in this empty spot there. Take a look at that. Looks pretty deserty. Now for the plants. And as you know, not many things can live in the deserts since it's so dry. So our only options are succulents and cacti, which of course are able to absorb tons of water. But I don't have any of those types of plants, so I gotta go to the store. Let's go. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm at Home Depot. And the reason I'm here to get plants is because I saw a comment from one of you guys saying you got 820 plants for $30. And that seems like a pretty good deal. I mean, it's probably a typo or something, but let's just go see if Home Depot has any good deals on plants.
I don't think you can get 820 plants from anywhere for $30. Go to the forest, you can get it for free. You just gotta pick it out of the ground. That's the method when it comes to making enclosures for animals and you're on a budget. You go to the forest and you just get the weeds. And you put the weeds everywhere. Even though it doesn't match it at all for what this guy's doing. And you get all the weeds out of the ground.
So I made my way over to the garden section expecting there to be a ton of plants. But when I got there was literally nothing.
Bro, there is not a single plant in sight. What is this?
But apparently because it was winter, they just moved most of the plants inside because I ended up finding this little collection of plants.
Dang, look at all these succulents. Wait, this is actually exactly what I need. Okay, let me just pick out a few of these. And of course, let's get some cactuses like down here, or cacti. I don't know how to say it plural.
So I picked out a nice selection.
Cactusy.
And while I didn't get as good of a deal as that comment said, it still only costed like $20 for all these plants, which is pretty good. Anyways, to plant these desert plants, I shook off all the excess dirt and planted just the roots in the sand. And in no time, it was done. But the final step to finishing the cow killer's home is insects. And I've got two different species of insects I want to put in here. First of all, you already know, I've got springtails, the extremely
Yeah, oh my
things.
fucking
And
god.
there's just like 1,000 of them in here. All these tiny little white things moving, those are all springtails.
But these are extra important in a desert enclosure like this, because every now and then I'm gonna have to go and spray each of the plants down and water them, and the springtails will make sure to eat up any extra mold that grows because of all the moisture. So yeah, they're pretty useful. Let's just dump these guys in here. Yeah, pretty good.
And second of all, I've got these things, which are mealworms.
But the real reason why I'm gonna put these guys in the
Oh my
enclosure
god.
is I'm kind of interested to see if the cow killer's gonna go and just sting them, to be honest. I don't really know if the cow killer eats insects like this, but I guess I'm gonna figure out with you guys once we put them in here.
Well, this desert enclosure is now complete, and that means I gotta get the pet cow killer. Yeah.
Oh, it's $10 off.
I get pets like this.
Well, guys, it took a long time for this to get delivered, and I don't even know why it says live fish if there's a cow killer in here. But anyways, I guess it's time to bring this thing inside, show off exactly what a pet cow killer is like, and of course, let it crawl on my arm. I know I keep bringing this up, but seriously, if I get stung by this thing, I'm going to be in this much pain. Like, just look at this guy's face. I just don't want to do that.
It's
but
Coyote
anyways,
Peterson,
let's
though.
go inside and open this.
So I cut the tape and got the container out.
How much money do you think
Supposedly,
Coyote
the
Peterson
bug was
makes?
inside.
Okay, so this is not so promising. It's just a clear plastic container with a paper towel. Well, I guess let me just carefully take the lid off and, okay, please, hopefully nothing jumps out at me.
I very carefully used some tweezers to move the
That's
paper
not tweezers,
towel
that's
into
fucking
another
pliers.
container.
What?
Then I carefully moved around that paper towel to try and reveal the cow killer.
Oh, I think I see it in there. Wait, do you see that? Hold on, look at this. Oh, that's the cow killer. This may not look like it, but this thing right here is one of the most painful stinging insects, or not even insects, just animals in the entire world.
But I couldn't just move it straight inside of the new enclosure because first I had to build the rest of it on so it wouldn't be able to escape. Because if it did, that would be really bad.
Okay, well, it's right here, so I'm just gonna risk it for the biscuit and pick it up super carefully. And drop it. Okay, you're in your new home. Enjoy it.
Soon enough, the bug crawled out of its paper towel and started to explore around his new home. But considering the cow killer spent the last week in that shipping box, it's probably pretty hungry. So I wanted to get it fed right away.
And when you search it on Google, it says the cow killers like to eat nectar, larvae, and adult insects. So I think first I'm gonna feed them some of this insect jelly food, which I usually feed to my crickets. But basically, it should replicate the nectar that they find in flowers in the wild.
So I opened up the pack of jelly and put it right in front of the cow killer. Within about a minute, it must have picked up the scent because it crawled right up to it and just stayed there looking like it was eating it.
Yo, look at the cow killer. It just put its face straight up to the jelly and is just devouring it, I'm pretty sure.
And yeah, he really just sat there for 20 whole minutes eating it, and I eventually just took the jelly away from him because I didn't want him to eat too much.
Anyways, I want to see if this cow killer is going to eat the other stuff that Google said it would eat. And one of
Obese cow killer. Put on a few too many pounds.
the things it said it would eat is adult insects. And if you remember, I did put mealworms in here. Let me see if I can find one. Here we go. There's just a mealworm in the sand right there. But I just want to bring this right over to the cow killer and see if it reacts if I just drop it right next to it. Let's see what happens here.
Now, right away, the cow killer noticed the mealworm and went straight up to it. But while it even started to crawl on top of the mealworm, it didn't really seem to care at all that it was there. In fact, it kind of just put its mouth on the sand where the insect jelly was just sitting to try and suck up any of the last sugar that was there. So yeah, I guess they don't really eat insects.
Alright, it's the nighttime, and I got my mom in here. Say hi.
Hi.
Now, the reason I got my mom in here is because I was gonna need her to film the cow killer when it walked on my arm. But first, I had to show her the bug.
Can you just guess what's inside real quick, based off the desert?
Some sort of bug.
Yeah, it is a bug. Actually, you can probably see it. It's in this little container right here. Basically, if I take this off, it's this little red creature bug thing, and it's called a cow killer because they say its sting is painful enough to be able to kill a literal cow.
What?
Yeah, so
Are you
basically,
serious?
the reason I brought you in today is because I just want you to film me, basically letting it crawl on me, because I was just thinking, you know, like I just want to bond with it.
That sounds like a really bad idea.
So first, I'm going to start by picking up its abdomen with these tweezers. Now, don't worry, this doesn't actually hurt the bug because it has a super strong abdomen. It's just basically like a skeleton. Oops, I dropped it.
But eventually, I picked it up again and put it inside of the container.
Okay, you got a good shot. So basically, I'm just going to start by putting this like this. I don't want to get it mad when it crawls out. I just want to let it crawl out itself.
And this will kill a cow.
Well, yeah, that's what they say, but I don't think it actually can. All I know is it's super painful.
It didn't take long until the cow killer got to the edge of the container and then stepped onto my arm.
Now we just hope and pray this doesn't sting me right now. So I don't want to make any sudden movements, then it's going to know how
Sting,
bad
sting,
it's
sting,
gonna
sting, sting,
sting.
Now, I had to let it
sting,
sit on me
sting,
for at
sting,
least a
sting.
minute. So in the meantime, I just tried to talk with my mom to distract me.
What is the purpose of this? You want to bond with your pet?
Yeah, because everyone bonds with their dog and stuff. I just want to bond with my cow killer. You see how Stinger's just like crawling
Sting him,
along here? Could accidentally sting me at any moment.
please.
At this point, it started to look more
Please.
aggravated, and as soon as the timer hit 60 seconds, I put the container in front of it, hoping it would crawl in. But it ended up crawling around it onto the side of my arm, where it eventually fell off onto the table. So I quickly scooped it up back into its container.
We got it. That was actually really nerve-wracking. I don't know if I was saying a lot. I was actually like, my heart was pounding like 200 beats a second. But now I can say I've
You
been,
bonded.
bonded with a cow killer.
What are you gonna name
The
it?
cow killer.
The cow killer.
That's a cool name.
Now, I didn't get stung today, but I'm gonna have this pet for a while. So if you guys really want to see it, I honestly wouldn't be totally opposed to doing it. So if you want to see me get stung for a video, subscribe. Because YouTube shows me how many subscribers a single video gives me. And if
no.
this gets like 100,000 subscribers, then I'll know you guys really want me to do that.
For some reason, my normal microphone's not working, but I gotta do the outro. So if you guys saw the YouTubes, just a reminder, check it out, top link in.
Alright. W video Terra Green. Should have gotten stung by the cow killer, but that would have made it 10 times better. That would have made it 10 times better.